So basically what I want to do is kind of explain what's kind of been going on for the past 2 months. Because I went almost inactive and then, I got sick and I'm still sick, but we'll get there. So I guess we can just kind of start from the beginning. So essentially, this kind of, I think this all started around here, mid to late March. And I said, I've been super busy with school, friends, hobbies, etc. And I really hope I can get back into consistent streaming again. So at this point in time, I was really, really worked up with school, and I really just did not have the energy. I was really stressed out, especially with like two specific classes. Oh, what's up, Quarterside? And I I didn't have the energy to stream. I could have probably squeezed in the time, but I just couldn't mentally. And then I got back. I worked everything out, and I started streaming again. 4:10. Yep, this is where. So I finally thought I was doing great again. I was ready to stream. I was feeling good. So April 10th. I'm pretty sure this is a weekend or something. I might have skipped a day. I don't know. I was ready to start streaming again a lot, and it was. This is gonna be where it's hard to explain. 4:17. As soon as I get back to the stream, I get a disease that makes it infinitely more difficult to stream. So I'm going to explain that. So what happened here? I actually got this disease on April 2nd, and this is gonna take a hot minute to explain. So basically, for those of you who don't know, I had COVID back in January, and my case was very, very mild, and I mean like I was low on energy and I got mild headaches and my sinuses burned and that's it. Like I didn't even have a cough. Like realistically, most colds that I've had are worse than what I had in January. And everything was fine. I couldn't taste or smell for 3 months up until late March, where it started just barely coming back. And on April 2nd, I noticed that things just tasted wrong, I guess. And on the first night, it seemed like maybe it's just a bad meal. But the next day, I was in a room and they had a bunch of food. There's some special occasion, and I could barely handle it. I could barely stand in the room, and to everyone else, it felt fantastic. And I didn't know if I was like just sick. I don't know if I was really confused. I haven't heard anything like this. And so I kind of shrugged it off. A few days passed, and I had struggles eating. I really could not force things down my stomach. I would get sick just being around food. And I did a lot of research on it, and it turns out this fun thing called parosmia. And essentially, for any of you who might possibly know what this is, the olfactory nerve, which is what you use to smell and one of the four nerves used to taste, is damaged because of COVID-19. And so a lot of the signals that it sends to my brain for smelling and tasting are like warped essentially, and nothing seems right. So I really didn't think this would be that big of an issue at first. I mean, obviously it's a big inconvenience, but I thought, all right, I can get through this. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Everything's going to be all right. That was being very optimistic. So I was actually streaming around this time because I thought I was fine. See, 410, 412, 414. I thought I was feeling great. Like, I thought I had it under control, but when I made this announcement, it was after a doctor's appointment. And in a week and a half, 2 weeks, I had lost 20 pounds. And it's going to get a little personal here, but I am 16 years old, 5'9", and 135 pounds before this. That being said, that's like dead average BMI. And I'm not fully grown yet, so I can't really lose weight in that situation. I can't lose weight, and my pediatrician told me like if you don't start getting nutrition, your growth is going to be permanently stunted. And when I really let that sink in, I realized that this is not going to be easy. And so I made this announcement because streaming takes a lot of energy, as you can you can argue, but for me it took a lot of energy to stream. And so basic human anatomy, using energy burns calories, and burning calories loses weight. And I didn't have weight to lose. And I know that sounds like a stretch, but you had to understand that it could have permanently, and it probably could have or did permanently affect my life in a negative way. So, although I knew I wasn't gonna die, I mean, I was like really hungry. I would go like 2, 3 days without eating, but I wouldn't let myself starve to death. But it was to a point where I was so unhealthy I couldn't let it continue. I had to do everything in my power to maintain what I had. So that's when I quit there, because I figured if I'm low on energy, stream is not going to be fun. And if stream's not going to be fun, then there's no point in streaming. If I go up on stream and I'm sad, I'd rather just not stream at all. I want to have a fun, nice environment for people who come by the stream, for people to laugh and have fun. I don't want to say things that might be depressing, or I don't want to just have that mindset and mentality, because I'm tired, and that's just how I am. If I'm tired, I'm depressed. I said this. I'll be back in 2 weeks tops, hopefully 1 week, we'll see. Because it had been 3 weeks since I had gotten parosmia. And parosmia is supposed to last between 2 and 4 weeks for people who got it from a virus. Since I got it from COVID, I figured it's going to be 4 weeks. And, well, that's not really true. So I guess I'll continue explaining. After my pediatrician visit, she gave me antibiotics just in case it was an infection. She was like 99% sure it wasn't, but just in case, And I wasn't against it. I want to try everything in my power to get this thing out of my life. So I accepted it. I've been taking antibiotics, amoxicillin, and she gave us a referral to go to an ENT, which, if you don't know, is ear, nose, and throat doctor. So we went there, and he knew a lot more about it, because my pediatrician knew nothing about it. I practically taught her what it was. And that was just off like Google searches, so that's not very good. So I went to the ENT doctor, and he explained it in more detail, and basically he said, first of all, if you want to heal, you're going to need to be around foods and eat foods that are disgusting to you. Because if you don't stimulate the nerves, it's not gonna try to heal itself, because it doesn't know it's damaged if it's not being used. And I guess I should also explain, everything tastes like vomit to me. Like, I can barely eat and be around foods in general. At this point, I can eat most dry vegetables, and like milk and cheese, most cheeses, that's about it. And by most cheese, it's like mozzarella and parmesan. Yeah, everything else I try to force down, but a lot of foods I just can't because it tastes terrible. But he looked at the nerve, it looked fine physically, meaning there was probably no permanent damage. He said it could be permanent, but I mean, odds are it's not. I'm As bad as that sounds, I'm fairly confident it's not going to be permanent. But he told me what I needed to do, and I really didn't want to do it, but he prescribed steroids as well, because I don't know if you guys know what steroids do, but essentially that would help build up the nerve again. He said he wasn't sure if it was going to work, but we wanted to try everything to try to fix this nerve. We set up an MRI scan for next week, is it? I think it's next week, to check if there's serious damage in my brain, because it can also be caused by brain tumors. So although we're pretty sure it's not that, we don't want to rule out the possibility if it ends up being the possibility. I'm gonna loop around now and go into further detail about some of the stuff going on. So, yeah, I guess I'll just say it. It'll be easier to explain everything. So I have bipolar depression, and it's typically triggered by low energy. So when I say with friends, I had lost one of my best friends. She had started ghosting me, never really explained anything. I still don't really know what happened. And that kind of hurt me a lot because she was my best friend, and I didn't really know what was happening. She didn't explain anything. So I was kind of lost there. And especially on top of not being able to eat, that low energy and the things going on, the stress from school, it was really, really breaking down on me, dude. I couldn't bring myself to stream, and I've really wanted to stream because I still have parosmy. I still can't eat anything, and here I am streaming just because I really, really want to stream. But I hope that explains everything that's happened. I hope that explains the absence. I didn't think it'd be fair to do this in a Discord announcement. I hope you guys understand, and I really appreciate all the support and kind messages that I've gotten. I'll try to stream more, but I don't really know what's gonna happen. No one does at this point. I'm pretty sure I'll be okay, but it's gonna take a hot minute to recover. I'll get there. I'll get there. This Discord Nitro giveaway, this was kind of I feel bad because, it was out of my control. It's not really my fault. I understood it wasn't really my fault that I had to take a break because, as selfish as it sounds, I would rather not die to stream. I love streaming, but I'm not gonna give my life for it. Oh, and just a small detail I missed out on. My ENT doctor told me that if I don't get more nutrients, they would have to surgically give me a feeding tube, so that scared me into submission. But this was just because I felt really bad, and I knew it wasn't my fault. But I wanted to do something for the community because you guys had been so kind. And, like even this, just hearts. That made my day, honestly. I really appreciated that. I just wanted to give back, even though I couldn't stream, and I said this because wait, that was like, yeah, it was 4 days ago. I went on vacation over the weekend, so I just literally landed this morning at like 10 a.m. So yeah, that's all that explaining.